this month sees us with no full moon at all, but we have got a new moon solar eclipse which is happening in your 11th house, which I will go on to talk about in a bit. But this month, I feel like in general you're going to be feeling really quite supported. You're being given the go-ahead to formulate big plans and to think about your goals, and you're getting support. Saturn is supporting you. It is there in your 10th house, and it's bringing structure to any dreams you might have of pursuing a certain career path, or of altering perhaps where your career path is going. And even if you're not working, Saturn is here wanting to bring structure and solid foundations to your life in general. I mean, this affects not just your 10th house, it affects your 4th house, which is your home, your family, and that kind of thing. So it's about the structure of your life. So even if you are an Aries who's not working, who's retired, Saturn was in the 9th house. Saturn was in Sagittarius, and we all found that a little bit challenging to deal with. And I think you wanted to grow in a way. There were things you wanted to change, or plans you wanted to make, certain directions you wanted to take, and you probably found that there was stumbling blocks and it just wasn't happening, and you were probably feeling like you were quite stuck in some ways. Well, now Saturn's here in Capricorn saying, okay, I'm going to help you build that life you want, even if it's a case of you wanted to simplify. Maybe you wanted to simplify in terms of how much you were doing. Maybe you're self-employed, and maybe you own various businesses. Maybe you wanted to simplify, and while Saturn was in Sagittarius, that just wasn't happening for you. Now you can streamline. Now you can really address both your personal and your private life and bring them into balance and make them something that really works for you. So there are some really positive sextiles between Saturn and the personal planets this month, which add to that, which basically say, Saturn's like they're going, yeah, I've got your back. I've got your back. We can build this. We can do this. Mars is in Sagittarius, once again, wanting you to grow in that 9th house, wanting you to grow, wanting you to explore, wanting you to try new things, thirsting for a little bit of adventure and thirsting for more, basically, And I think, it's a really positive thing in that it's giving you drive, and Mars being your ruling planet, this is a really nice placement for it because Sagittarius is a sister sign to you, so this is another fire sign, so it's familiar energy. Mars is in familiar, fiery type energy, so he's happy there, and he's happy to be expansive, and your desire and your will nature will be that you want to be expansive. You might be wanting to, maybe after all the madness of Christmas and everything, you're wanting to just get away and take a trip somewhere. At the same time though, there will be points this month where you have to listen to your mind, where you have to listen to your heart, rather than just going with that incredibly strong Aryan will that you have, that Martian will. There will be a few moments this month where, Mars will square off with Venus and square off with Mercury, and it will just be saying, slow down a minute. I know you want to move forward. I know you want to venture into new territory, even if that new territory means not having more on a physical level, but actually getting rid of certain things and simplifying. He's saying, yeah, okay, I know, but you've got to slow down a little bit. Don't get too carried away with yourself. But you're in a strong position this month. You really are. And I see you feeling strong in general. This is a good month for continuing to plan, for continuing to work towards your dreams. And I imagine higher ups and those in authority, people with legal authority, will be supportive of you. Something that I'm really intrigued about as to how it might play out for everybody, for every Aryan on, a personal level, is Jupiter is in your 8th house in Scorpio. And, Jupiter is expanding this house that is about shared resources, joint finances, tax, sex, death, intimacy, psychology, things that are buried, things that we don't want to look at, patterns of behavior that can sometimes be self-defeating. So Jupiter is there, and Jupiter in himself is not a good guy or a bad guy. He's known as the greater benefic, but the thing is, he expands whatever he touches. So if you've got stuff going on there that's that you're less than happy about, that will be expanded so that you can get the higher wisdom and the higher knowledge and the learning out of it, because that's also what Jupiter rules. So Jupiter is here in your 8th house, and he squares off to quite a few of your personal planets this month. You know, to Venus, to Mercury, to the Sun. So this can work out either kind of positively, or it can work out in a kind of more difficult way. On the positive, in the positive kind of area of it, this could see you feeling enriched by the friendships that you have around you, and feeling like you're able to get closer to certain friends, and you see the role they play in your life, and maybe you're kind of learning from some of them. This could also see you wanting to be more intimate with a partner and really break through some barriers in terms of your intimacy with a partner. And so there could be some really nice breakthroughs, and you're suddenly able to look back on maybe parts of your relationship that weren't that great, and you're able to see the learning and the growth that you've both taken. So this could play out as kind of breakthrough energy and a deeper understanding of yourself as you relate to others and in your intimate relationships. This could also play out in the sense that partnerships, love, other people, friendships trigger something in you where you realize that you have to do a little bit of cleaning, you know, a bit of spring cleaning of the 8th house. And you realize maybe there are certain dependencies, maybe certain things are being highlighted in you that you haven't really wanted to look at, that you need to let go of, whether it's a codependency issue, whether it's in some way giving too much power to a particular person in your life. This could also be the other way that it plays out, where you're getting this higher learning and you're getting this expansion. The expansion's happening in terms of who you know yourself to be on the most intimate psychological level, and sometimes that can come through shocking events which play out with other people. So those are two ways that it could play out. I mean, the third way that I'm looking at, because I'm getting this feeling with you, Aries, that I feel like you just want to burn some stuff and move forward. And what I mean by that is I feel like I feel like some of you have been through a really tough time, and there's been this accumulated stuff, whether it's physically, there's been stuff accumulated, emotionally, mentally, whatever. I feel like you want to just cut through it with this burning sword and burn it away so you can streamline and almost kind of be free of anything that might be stopping you from soaring as high as you can, you know. And you just want to be as aerodynamic as possible, so that you can literally like aim high and get there in no time, you know. That's how I'm feeling with you. And so Jupiter here making these aspects is a similar feeling. It's almost like expanding perhaps things that have come to clutter your life. Perhaps you're looking around your home and you're thinking, how on earth did we inherit? Because, you know, the 8th house is about inheritances. How did we inherit so much stuff? I feel stuck. I feel stifled. I don't like it. You know, it can be physically, or it can be emotionally, you know. If there's a relationship that you've come out of recently and it's like, ugh, I've got so many of these insecurities that have been left behind as a result of this relationship, I just want to burn through them. And I feel like this is kind of also how Jupiter can work here, not in the sense that he's going to burn through things, but he's going to help you to see more the lessons behind it and help you to grow from it. And rather than maybe push it aside, you're going to be enlightened as a result of these things. But I do feel like there's some sort of spring cleaning and some kind of wiping out the cobwebs, and you need to get rid of some stuff, 8th house stuff, whether it's possessions you've accumulated over the years through family or whatever, whether it's that you need to sort out your taxes and your business, you know, if you're self-employed, stuff to do with your business, maybe the paperwork is building up, stuff you haven't looked at. Clear it out, clear it out, clear it out. This is January and February, for all of us, are about a lot of spring cleaning. So clear it out, clear it out, clear it out. And when you want to push yourself, when you're getting that Martian drive to just go forward, go forward, go forward regardless, you know how I said to you, You're going to have some days where you need to just pull back a bit. Maybe instead use that drive to clear out whatever needs to be cleared out from that 8th house, you know, whether it's sorting out stuff to do with shared finances, whatever needs to be brought, wherever there needs to be some clarity brought to it, some wisdom, some order. Bring that order there, because I think that could be really, really good. And Saturn will like you for this. Saturn will love you for that, you know, clearing out that stuff and bringing some structure there. The energy is in your 11th house in terms of like where you're putting your ego energy. So you could be having a really great time with friends and realigning who you network with. I also see this energy playing out, you know, especially with Jupiter squaring the Sun in your 11th house. I'm seeing this as like you might also be looking around at some of the friendships and groups you belong to and saying, hang on a minute, are these people I really want to take with me into my future? I mean, are they helping, are they assisting me? Do they help me grow? Or am I actually being stunted by these people? That's another possibility. But you have got focus there in that 11th house and of networking and wanting to be out there in the wider world and spread your message. So you've got a lot of this outward energy. Just don't negate the stuff that needs to be done behind the scenes. You know, just try not to forget about that. Pisces, Mercury moves into Pisces. It's funny that just happened. Anyway, Mercury moves into Pisces this month, and that will see, as does Venus, and that's on the 18th. Start again. Sorry, I'm completely... See, this is exactly what I was about to talk about. I was going to talk about how Mercury moves into Pisces, and it can make our thinking and our communications all over the place. See what just happened? I'm channeling that Piscean mercurial energy. It just doesn't blend well. Okay, let's start that again. So, the Sun and Mercury enter Pisces, and that's on the 18th. And so this is, you know, this is that kind of energy where communication gets a little bit more fluid and everyone's a little bit more in touch with other realms, let's just say. And the thinking isn't so clear, the communication isn't as maybe as matter of fact and straight to the point as you like it to be. And you have to watch out for your thinking too. Don't get too irritated with yourself if you find that your thinking is a bit hazy, you're not communicating as directly as you normally do. This is just that cycle. It's just that time of the year when, you know, the energy starts to go a bit more inwards for you, where the thinking becomes a little less logical and a little bit more abstract and spiritual, and puts you in touch with that part of yourself a lot more watery. Venus goes into Pisces on the 10th, so that goes into your 12th house on the 10th, and that's like, then it's a little bit more about, you know, self-care. It's a little bit more about, I don't really want to be around huge groups of people and that kind of thing. I've already mentioned Venus squaring Mars, and that's going to happen on the 25th, so just watch out for that day, because I feel like this could be it could either play out in terms of you and a loved one, especially a romantic partner, where you're just clashing because on some level you want to, you maybe are feeling a little bit more, what's the word, you're feeling a little bit more introspective, you're feeling a little bit maybe tender, you're feeling a little bit more like you just want to be a bit more insular and inside of yourself, and maybe your partner is very much like you wanting to go out somewhere or do something and you just don't have the energy for it. It could play out that way. It could also play out internally, you know, as in, you know, feeling the need to retreat a bit from the world, but at the same time feeling like there's so much you have to do. Try and strike that balance and just recognize it. Like I said, this is that time of year when you're kind of coming into that hibernation period before your birthday actually comes about. Okay, so last but not least, I need to mention the new moon, solar eclipse. It's a partial eclipse in Aquarius in that 11th house of yours, about dreams and aspirations and goals, the love you receive from others, friends, networks. And if these eclipses are happening on that Aquarius Leo, angle. And for you, it's very much about joy and connection with others and self-expression and projects and goals and dreams and fun. And it's like, have you been having enough fun? Have you been having enough fun, Aries? Have you been enjoying yourself enough? Or have you just been working your ass off to support your family? Have you just had your nose to the grindstone these last few years with very little time for joy? You know, how can we bring in more joy? This could see you having, this is going to affect you for the next 6 months, but this could see you aligning yourself with new groups of people, bringing more joy, more fun into your life through who you align yourself with, thinking about how your dreams and your wishes aren't just about financial security or being successful. They actually have to enjoy they also have to include a certain amount of pleasure and fun for fun's sake, you know. So this is kind of what I see it as with you, and I see it as like fresh starts in terms of maybe your goals and the people that you're attracting, the people you want to be around, and how you spend your spare time, and maybe even making sure you have spare time, because you guys have so much energy and you're so driven. You know, give yourself that downtime to enjoy life. I feel like Aries, it's really time, because I feel like some of you just worked so hard, and you're going to continue to do so, but you're starting to see how there needs to be more balance between your work life and you know, the time you give to yourself and the time you could take for yourself to relax and just have fun. So without further ado, I'm going to go on to do now your tarot, which is a completely new part of these readings. I've never incorporated tarot before, but I've been really excited about doing it. I've been wanting to do it for some time. So Aries, on to your tarot for February.